Last night, the Los Angeles Clippers lost by 30 points in Crypto Arena to the Dallas Mavericks. As of right now, the betting books have the Mavericks heavily favored, while the Los Angeles Clippers are plus 600 to win the series. With all the momentum in the world going back home, it seems like the most obvious answer is that the Los Angeles Clippers will yet again fall short and lose on the road in Dallas to Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the rest of the Mavs. No Kawhi Leonard, what appears to be a mentally weak Clippers team, and no hope from the fans. The Clippers are in trouble. Today's video, we discuss how I think the Los Angeles Clippers are going to shock the world and take this to 7 games, and not only take it there, but win the series at that. Before we get into that, guys, you need to know that my job as a basketball content creator, YouTuber, whatever you want to call me, is to make bold predictions. It's to make predictions that are out of the realm of possibilities. It's to not just pick the favorites every series. If the Mavericks were to win in 6 games, if they were to win the series in 7 games, I would not be entirely shocked. However, surveying what I have seen in this series allows me a slimmer, and I mean a slimmer of hope, that the Los Angeles Clippers can make this an interesting series nonetheless. Because when you're in a position like me where you're not a fan of the Clippers and you're not a fan of the Mavericks, every series is like this. You just want it to be the best basketball possible. You want it to boil down to 7 games if possible. And that's not saying I'm not a fan of either team in particular. It's just saying that generally speaking, I am more of a fan of athletes as people, as players, than I am of entire organizations. Do I love Kawhi Leonard? Yes. Do I love Kyrie Irving? Yes. Do I think Luka Doncic is one of the greatest young minds in the NBA? Hell yes. Do I think James and Paul deserve a shot on the biggest stage in the world like the NBA Finals? Also yes. However, that does not mean I'm going to cry, shout, or whine if one of them loses in this series, because in all honesty, if I'm being completely transparent with you guys, which I always am, if I had to pick a team in the West to win, I would love to see Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves win their first championship in franchise history. Or I would love to watch the Denver Nuggets repeat in what would be one of the most generational runs in all of NBA history. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to be alive and a part of that. But enough nonsense. Let's talk Clippers. With Kawhi out, the team has won 2 games and lost 1. With Kawhi Leonard playing, they have lost both of those games and they are now down 3-2 on the road. It's definitely not a situation you want to find yourself in. However, I think this is where the narrative that James Harden is a playoff choker, that pandemic P is a real thing. I think Game 6 is going to be the pivotal moment in these men's NBA career when their back's against the wall, where they have no other option. They're on the road. Their number 1 superstar is down. They need to rise to the occasion. Similar to what we saw in Game 4, where Paul and James had combined for 60 plus points in that one, ultimately hitting big shot after big shot come down the stretch. Whereas last night, it was pretty obvious that James and Paul were a little bit out of rhythm. They were very struggling to find success outside of hunting Luka Doncic. Although Luka Doncic, even with his knee injury, he was still putting a ton of effort forward on the defensive side of the ball, which in turn, it helped a lot for the Mavs. Even Kyrie himself struggled last night offensively. It just seemed like the energy in that arena was all on the defensive side of the basketball. Even when the Clippers were down by 20, I loved the passion that they were playing with, trying to cut it to any sizable lead, even at all, because this team understands that if they can get it to 12 points, then they have themselves a game. 12-point deficit is nothing for them to be worried about. The big pivotal issue I saw in this Game 5 was that men like Maxi Kleber came off the bench and shot 5 for 5 from downtown. Josh Green comes in off the bench and hits basically a buzzer beater at the end of the 3rd quarter that was a 4-point play to suck out any momentum the Clippers had. Kyrie Irving is diving on loose balls even though he's not making baskets. The effort was way more than noticeable in this one on the Dallas Mavericks side of the ball, and even partially on the Clippers side of the ball on the defensive side. They just couldn't get anything going on offense. Then not to mention, you have this absolutely brilliant in-transition pair of forwards or centers with Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively just being this dual threat that's great at rebounding. They're great athletes. They're great role men for Kyrie and Luka. I mean, the Dallas Mavericks played nearly a perfect game of basketball, so why on God's green earth am I going to pick the Clippers to beat them in 6 and then beat them in 7? Well, it's simple. I think Ty Lue is going to come out with a more physical and fast-paced, appropriate game plan that is a great approach to this Game 6 in specific. I think Game 5, they just relied too much on hunting Luka Doncic, and it was weird. You know, as Zubac was amazing. amazing. He started this game 6 for 6 with an and one. Terrence Mann was amazing in the first quarter. Amir Coffey had himself a solid game. But I think this game plan is going to differ more when they get into transition. I would like to see them get some easy buckets, have their superstars like Paul or James, if you would consider them or dub them to be superstars. It's very easy for them to get baskets in transition or free throw line baskets, and then they just start clicking. I really think that we're going to see the Los Angeles Clippers get into their actions a little bit faster. They kind of lag up the court in some of these games, and they're not, starting their actions till 18, 17, sometimes even 16 seconds on the shot clock. I'm pretty positive Kawhi won't be playing in this one. There's like a 50-50 chance he's going to suit up, to be honest with you. But regarding that, I'm not sure how much it matters. For me, the simple answer as to why I believe the Clippers are going to win is because I cannot see them replicating any worse of a game that they did in Game 5. I get that could come back and bite me in the ass as the most Los Angeles Clippers thing to ever happen, for them to just sell in the big moments. I mean, it's literally insanely on brand for LA. All of the LA teams, they do this stuff, but I don't think Russ, I don't think James, I don't think Paul are going to have such lackluster performances in the biggest game of their life. This is the tail end of their career. It's literally now or never, possibly. You don't know if this gang's coming back for next year. They had to go so deep into the bench last night that PJ Tucker got minutes, but I do hope we see a little bit of PJ Tucker in this Game 6. I think he's a very appropriate body and energy that is somewhat needed in a series like this. They're very much lacking physicality and energy, and I think they need it. Like, if we look at Derek Lively, and he was so insanely loud last night on every single lob, every single block, every single roll. You just see him screaming, I got your left, I got your right. That's not the thing. But the Clippers, we see them shell up. James Harden and Paul George, they're not barking orders like real leaders do. When things get bad, they tend to just keep their head straight, and they don't look around, and they don't try to fix the problem at hand. I'm not entirely sure why I think the mindset's going to change for a 34 and a 33-year-old Paul and James, but I just can't see them going out sad like this one more time. But again, you're probably watching this video right after the Mavericks either beat their ass in 6 games, or you're watching this video when it's Game 7 and my take is officially on the line. But let me know what you guys think of this. You think the Mavericks are just going to win it all, or you think the Clippers are going to somehow come back? If you made it this far, I appreciate your guys' support as always. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.